We open on a dude standing atop a mountain of corpses in Brit. He roars at Louis why. Weren't we sworn brothers? He screams, demanding to know why he was betrayed. Louis just smirks, summoning a system screen panel and all. With audio, no less. Do you remember? Louis asks. Remember how the first calamity started, how monsters just poured out of weird space portals wrecking everything in sight? We ended up calling those portals dungeons. And the people who touched them got powers, which we dubbed classes. That's why we formed class-based parties all to take on the dungeons and win. But that's exactly why I have to get rid of you, my friend. You've just become too much, uncontrollable. Strong class users can totally wreck the Empire's order, and you surpassing even SSA rank were the biggest threat of all. That kind of ultimate power belongs to the royals. It's the only way the Empire can be safe, truly stable. The hero screams, "Is that why you offed my family and my friends?" Louis just repeats that. It's all for the Empire's stability. In a rage, our hero unleashes his power, but something zips right at him, nailing him from behind and causing a huge explosion. The protagonist's aura just vanishes in the flash. Louis reveals he'd messed with his armor a while back. He adds that the blast also coated his wounds in poison. After a big SS rank fight, he should be too weak to resist. Plus, he had a whole army ready. You should take this as a sign of my final respect. The hero recalls being kids by a campfire, thinking what a twisted joke this all was. A joke about being brothers for life. Then, a system window pops up. The hidden skill, Mirror World, has been activated. A skill that lets him reset it all. The hero stares at his reflection in the lake as his very soul starts to sink. Decades later, same lake, some kids have a boy strung up in a tree. They're saying he's gotta be dead by now. One of them slugs the kid in the gut, telling him to quit the dead fish stare. They decide to just dunk. It's him in the water again. The boy sputters, he wasn't faking, but his face is shoved right back under the lake's surface. Starts to sink. Decades later, same lake, some kids have a boy strung up in a tree. They're saying he's gotta be hilarious. The boy spits blood, thinking, why me? Why does it always have to be me? And as he thinks this, the hero's soul hears his cry. Above, a kid with glasses begs them to stop saying he's gonna actually die this time. But the leader just scoffs. If he's gonna die, he should just heal himself. He's a singer, right? But the nerd was a total hypocrite though. He was the one who led them here to find the kid. If he croaks, it's gonna be all the nerd's fault. He whines he only did it 'cause of them, but the leader asks if he's trying to flip the script. And now his little punching bag is getting cocky. He raises a fist, calling him ungrateful, but a huge rumble erupts from behind them. Something's going down in the river. The freaking world itself seems to be cracking. They wonder, is that a dungeon? Why here? They decide to book it, screaming that there's a dungeon right behind them. The nerd glances back before he bolts. He thinks, that kid is still in there, there's no time to think. He's gotta save him first. Meanwhile, the dungeon starts spitting out monsters. The nerd struggles, why won't these ropes free? A monster spots him and rushes to strike with its sword, but our hero grabs the nerd's shirt, yanking him from the blade's path. He aims at the goblin and casts his skill, Glacial Impact. But the system alert says he just healed a lesser demon. It failed, because its health was already full. The nerd freaks out, screaming, why in the world did you heal the enemy? He then uses his shield to defend our hero. Yanshe checks his system and sees his class is Singer. He also spots the name Yanshe and realizes this isn't his real body. Normally, when entering a dungeon, the system assigns you a completely random starting class. This was totally unchangeable. After that, you'd get stronger by clearing dungeons and gaining skills from that class. But he was a warrior who had reached the absolute peak of power. He recalls that he had used the skill known as Mirror World. After that, he was trapped in this world until he heard this boy's desperate cries. He wonders if he really revived in this body. It wasn't exactly a welcome thought, but he was still grateful. This was a new chance for revenge. The nerd screams at Yanshe that monsters are closing in and he needs help now. Since he can only take on 3 of them, Yanshe thinks times, this body is so weak. Asterisk. Besides being a total weakling compared to him, all his current skills are useless. Singer is a super niche class with only support-based abilities. It's outclassed by basically every other class. It's a trash tier class that everyone looks down on. His old combat instincts can keep him alive for a bit, but he needs an escape plan like right now before his stamina gives out. This was a new chance for revenge. The nerd screams at Yanshe that monsters are closing in and he needs help now. He wonders if he really revived in this body. It wasn't exactly a welcome thought, but he was still grateful. Asterisk. Besides being a total weakling compared to him, all his current skills are useless. Singer is a super niche class with only support-based abilities. His old combat instincts can keep him alive for a bit, but he needs an escape plan like right now before his stamina gives out. But the activation conditions aren't met. Yanshe wonders if his level's too low or if he needs something reflective. Yanshe dodges an attack. Asterisk. The level's too low times, he thinks. So Mirror World needs a reflective surface to activate. He figures the hidden skill, Mirror World, is his only shot. He wonders how it works and tries to cast it on the lesser demon, but it fails again. Not enough level. He tries casting it on the clothes, and it fails again. The nerd yells, Stop wasting time with those useless skills. He screams that he can't hold on much longer. Hundreds of lights, just like the first one, fill the dungeon. The nerd collapses, trembling in fear. A whole army of elite monsters materializes before him. Yanshe tries Mirror World on a rock, but fails due to the level difference. He thinks times, if I can't even use it on a rock, the level gap must be huge. Or maybe there's another reason. He targets the nerd's shield. The system says he can't reverse skills cast by others like Kiyoshi. Yanshe gets what this means. Does that mean I can reverse my own skills times? He activates the Mirror World skill on his entangling vines. Instantly, he casts a new skill, Chaotic Thorns, that spreads across the battle zone. A monster swings its huge club at the geek, but gets clocked right in the mug by a crimson fist. It was another demon. Kyoi's baffled. Yan realizes the skill's effects must have been completely reversed. Instead of freezing them, it causes total chaos. The skill makes units randomly attack anyone now. Other target. Even a trash tier skill is OP when reversed. He's got to wonder what would happen if he reversed all of his skills. The Mirror World ability really is living up to its hidden SSF rank reputation. Ability. It doesn't just reverse effects, it gives them a massive power-up. If he'd used the standard version, the success rate would have been trash, and the lockdown would have been 2 seconds. It would never be this powerful. So what if he reversed his other skills? Yan checks out his enhanced hit skill. It gives a 5% attack buff to one unit for 30 seconds. He reverses it, and it becomes Trick Blade. This gives a 10% attack buff per mana point, spent lasting for 60 seconds. He fires it up, thinking it gives way more attack power. The blade ignites with a 60-second timer. He realizes that just reversing a skill makes it busted. He sees he's now level 6 and got a sweet boost to all of his stats. Yan figures the monsters must have killed each other, giving him a pretty decent amount of experience. A demon lunges with its sword, but he easily parries. He notes, leveling up gave a full restore to his mana. Alright, time to test out Trick Blade. He activates the Chaotic Thorn skill, and the blade just keeps stacking the effect. He spams it till he's out of mana, gaining a 120% attack buff, and thinks how fast he got it. This skill is seriously broken. He charges at a huge demon. Yanshe whips his blade around, deflecting the demon's club. Then, with all his might, he slices it clean in half. Jawuji is completely floored. He wonders if this is really Yanshe, a level 5 singer with this much power. Yan thinks that with his level 6 stats, 120 mana, and 1 mana per second regen, he can theoretically hit 2.3 times his normal attack power. So with his strength now, he can just barely handle these elite level monsters. Just then, a huge red blast rocks the dungeon. He looks on stunned as a level 21 battle chimera charges at them. Its demon minions follow as the chimera barrels toward the guys. Choji screams, "This is impossible." Yanshe realizes it's a hidden level 21 boss for this dungeon. He thrusts his hand out toward the beast. Chaotic Thorns fails to hold the battle chimera. The monster is totally immune to the chaos effect. Its claw gets closer. Xiaowei leaps in front, shouting at him to wake up. He blocks the attack with his shield. Yan looks at the boy, and he's reminded of an old comrade. That blonde dude always called him an idiot, telling him not to rush in without a plan. Not that he ever listened. Yan's eyes glint at the memory, but the chimera smacks his new ally with its claw. Choshi is sent flying. Yan rushes over, thinking this kid must have some kind of death wish. He gets to his buddy and uses his heal skill, yanking him back from the brink. He does it again, and the kid's HP stabilizes. Yanni scoffs. A singer's healing is a total joke. He asks if he has any actual healing potions. He says to chug the last one. The blade's activation hits 110%, lasting a mere 8 seconds. He thinks, still not enough for the boss, but these mobs are basically toast. This'll do. He tells Xiaoxi to just wait 1 minute. The nerd looks baffled. Our hero declares he'll wipe them all out, then charges. Ahead, his blade a blur for the full duration, completely wiping out every last one of the monsters. He levels up, his mana restored. He instantly casts Chaotic Thorns again, aiming to boost the total damage to 400%. But his Trick Blade only had 60 seconds left, and he spammed Thorns 40 times in 50, so the goal is level 10. Choi just stares stunned as Yoni's level skyrockets non-stop. The battle chimera lunges, claws out at our hero. Yanshe glances at his status. He's already hit level 12. With Trick Blade now at a 510% power boost, he roars, "This is plenty," and dashes in, slicing off the monster's whole arm clean off. He leaps his sword, a flash of light, landing more cuts. The chimera tries to roar in agony, but both its arms are now gone. Finally, Yi takes its head clean off, landing smoothly, right in front of Xiaoxi. The nerd stammers, "Am I dreaming? A level 5 singer just soloed a brand new dungeon." Ye hits level 15 as the system announces dungeon cleared. Choi walks up, asking if that was even really Yanshe, and how he got so OP all of a sudden. Yanshe just gets a notification telling him to collect his loot. Then he turns to Xiaoxi, recalling his old friend. He asks him what his relationship is to Xiao Benben. The nerd sputters. How'd he know his great-grandpa's nickname Yan echoes great-grandpa? So Xiaoxi is Xiao Benben's great-grandson, the descendant of that insufferable smug face. Ye wonders why not all of his old comrades had perished because of Louis. He thinks, I should be dead too. But Xiaoxi says they don't need to talk about it now. If he won't answer, that's fine, he doesn't have to say a single thing. There is no reason to humiliate him like this. Ye pauses on that word, humiliate. Xiaoxi adds he dunno how. But he's clearly been hiding his true power. They should get back to school since tomorrow is that big field trip to the Modern History Museum. Yanni considers this, deciding he can't reveal his true self yet. If he pushes too hard, it'll seem way too suspicious. That modern history place should have files on what went down after he died. On the school bus, students are messing around with each other. Choi stares one way and Yanshe stares the other way. He thinks to himself, man, things have really changed. Dead for a few years and the world is totally different. Who knew they'd use dungeon byproducts to power carriages? And so many other new things he had never seen before have just popped up. Some he'd seen in dungeons in his past life. But it could just be a monster drop that was brought out of the dungeon. He equips the Chimera Ring, a level 14 epic item. Nice. Thinks so gear and skills like this can be pulled from the inventory. You can probably even buy and sell them. Sold outside dungeons. He snagged the permanent skill Resilient Body, which nerfs all physical hits. Too bad these goodies couldn't go in his inventory. After the boss fell, it all poofed away with the dungeon. He's wondering what went down in the world after he kicked the bucket, outside the bus at a museum. A teacher explains that behind them stands a statue of their supreme ruler, the emperor who put an end to the dungeon disaster, Lu Wei. He assumes most students know this spot about 50 years back was a battlefield for a rebellion. Back then, with dungeons tearing up the world, everyone was terrified. Especially when the most terrifying SS-ranked dungeon showed up, and their king Lu Wyatt personally led his own army on an expedition. Despite massive losses, they actually conquered the dungeon. But right then, he was suddenly hit with a planned rebellion, and the mastermind, Yanshe, our hero's expression just plummets. The one man the king trusted most, who turned into a backstabbing snake. The protag thinks, we were the ones who cleared that SS-ranked dungeon just to get jumped by him. The teacher says he can't fathom the pain of being betrayed in that situation. But the king powered through all blood and guts. Finally, with a major assist from the hero, Ding Khan, he crushed the rebellion. Yan mutters the name Ding Khan, wondering if that guy even existed. That punk from yesterday pops up at the museum. He asks how those dudes are still breathing. 'Cause everyone saw that dungeon spawn. His buddy wonders if it was cleared, saying, there's gotta be a heavy hitter around. They must have gotten crazy lucky for that to happen. Yanshe wonders who those people are. The students are whispering, dropping Dingsu's name and the new dungeon. They're all wondering how he even survived something like that. Cleared that SS-ranked dungeon just to get jumped by him. The teacher says he can't fathom the pain of being betrayed in that situation. Dingsu grabs Xiaoxi's shoulder, saying he's lucky to be breathing. The nerdy kid fires back that it was totally Dingsu's fault, since he's the one who nabbed him and tried to off Yanshe. Dingsu scoffs like, what's wrong with your brain? You seriously don't get the situation. He tells him to look at the statue right there. That's his ancestor kneeling to the hero. That's the traitor Yanshe, and he is his descendant. So nobody is going to take your side. Yanshe shouts that he can insult him but not his ancestor. Xiaoxi is stunned at how he's twisting the whole thing. A crowd forms to see the drama. A student points out that Dingsu's grandpa is the hero. Ding Khan. That guy next to him has to be Xiaoxi, descendant of Yanshe, a traitor's blood. He's insulting the hero. His ancestor took out so many people. If the hero didn't stop him, tons more would be dead. Dingsu says he can talk all the smack he wants, but not about his ancestor, not right to his face. The teacher walks up, saying he'll be fair and speak for justice. Xiaoxi needs to apologize for what happened. The hero spared his family. If he's not grateful, at least don't insult him. This leaves Xiaoxi totally speechless. He's insulting the hero. His ancestor took out so many people. If the hero didn't stop him, tons more would be dead. 'Cause who's gonna help a rabid mutt like him, a total outcast? He seriously still thought that the hero's own bloodline, was the bad guy. He lunges, fist raised, shouting, for my ancestor's honor. I can't let this slide. Then a kick smashes right into his face. Yanshe totally flattens Dingsu down, stunning the nerdy kid. Our MC asks if the hero's family ever taught their brats some manners. The crab wonders if that's really Yanshe. He's like a totally different dude being able to smack Dingsu like that. Has he lost his mind? Now he's dissing the hero's family. They recall he's only a level 5. The weakest in his whole class, yet he dared to punch the hero's grandkid. That dude's an orphan and a total loser to even have friends. His brain must have finally fried. Dingsu staggers up, wiping blood, stunning the nerdy kid. Our MC asks if the hero's family ever taught their brats some manners. His goons move in, saying they'll handle them both. Yanshe just scoffs. He dodges and lands one clean hit on each of Dingsu's flunkies, dropping them cold. The hero's heir collapses to his knees. He spits out more blood as the crowd starts laughing and snapping pics. The kid can't believe he just got wrecked by this young chef. People gossip that he was brought to his knees so easily. Dingsu is actually kinda pathetic. Hero's heir pops his fury skill, jacking his attack by 25%. He shrieks that a pathetic level 5 scrub couldn't possibly be this strong. It had to be a lucky shot. The kid summons his fire hammer, charging at our MC with the weapon. Yanshe just notes he has way too many openings. He smacks Dingsu's chin as his trick blade's power gets a boost of 80%. Dingsu is like, how is this possible? And gets another kick to the face before he's totally floored. An officer shows up to the scene asking what's going on and why they're all here. Someone gawks, did Dingsu really get beat by a healer? The crowd whispers that he's supposed to be a level 5, but he sure doesn't fight like it. He must have hidden his true level. The officer states that fighting is forbidden inside the hall and asks the teacher if he can't manage his own students. The teacher stomps over to the fight, saying that Yanshe dissed a hero and then jumped his descendant. He draws his weapon, calling our boy shameless. Yanshe just flexes his ring. The Chimmer's body easily shatters the teacher's blade. The whole crowd is stunned. Yanshe says, "You're the last one who should talk about shameless. A teacher's gotta be fair, but it looks like you only hear Dingsu's side of the story." He asks if the teacher's just trying to suck up to his family, but the teacher yells at him to stop spewing nonsense. How could he? The teacher then finally spots the ring on his hand. He hadn't used his full power, but he was still blocked flat. Yanshe says it was just a little warning and that he didn't think the teacher was that type of guy. The teacher clears his throat, ahem of course. He says, "I will investigate this whole conflict." He's thinking, what kind of backer does this Yanshe kid have? Our MC looks at the cracked ring and thinks for an epic item. It dropped from a level 21, Lord. It took way too much heat from a level 35 teacher. He announces their punishment is just getting kicked out. Then he pieces out, telling Kyo to follow him. The nerdy kiddo dashes to Yan. The crowd's jaws drop. He stopped a teacher, something no other student has ever managed. That teacher screams for a healing spell on Dingsu, and some kid quickly jumps on it. Outside, Yan wonders if he's the only one left from his old crew. He glances at Xiaoxi, who's just staring at him with total admiration. This kid would spill any secret I ask right now. He then claims his own knowledge is rusty, and asks about the hero Ding Khan. Xiaoxi perks up, saying he's not sure if the story is legit, but supposedly he sniffed out the great villain Yanshe's evil plot ahead of time. So he set up a trap at the SS-rank dungeon to squash the rebellion, an ambush. Yan's mind flashes back to the dungeon. He recalls sitting with his comrades on a sea of corpses, until those armored knights showed up before them and just started cutting everyone down. Yan roars in his mind. Xiaoxi continues about how that hero Ding Khan dreamed of solving the dungeon crisis since he was a kid and trained like mad to do it. After being promoted by the king, he spent years fighting for the nation, saving tons of places from doom, like the super-famous Winterfell City Cataclysm. Yan thinks times. Wait a second, I'm the one who solved that mess. Asterisk. Then he asks about the sword on the statue. Xiaoxi says, it's the blade that offed Yanshe, and man, it sure looks like a high-grade weapon. Yan realizes they not only stole his glory and wins, but they even took his freaking sword. He decides Ding Khan is officially first on his list. Elsewhere, outside the grand Ding family estate, guards are patrolling the walls. One guard suddenly whips his head around, but it's just Yan and Xiaoxi strolling past. The blondie turns back, mumbling about some punk kids. Yan notes the guy's on high alert. He must have some kind of patrol-type skill. Xiaoxi is already whispering, they should bail since the place is crawling with guards. Even if they got in, they'd be toast once Dingsu got back. But Yan just wants to waltz in and take the hero Ding Khan's life right now. But Xiaoxi says the guy basically lives in a high-level dungeon, and unlike in his past life, no one can just waltz in anymore. The army guards high-level dungeons now, and you need a special pass to get in. In that case, the Ding family has to have one of those passes at home. He then wonders why the family needs this much security. There's only like a dozen of Ding Khan's descendants. Xiaoxi explains that they are all the hero's grandkids. And get this, they have a private dungeon. The protagonist is totally baffled, asking about a dungeon in their house. His nerdy pal says that low-level dungeons can be bought and sold privately, but it's not something normal folks could ever dream of owning. That's why Dingsu has guards watching him all the time, so he can power level all he wants while students like them can only grind during practical classes. Yan sighs. This era is totally different, so the richer and more powerful you are, the higher your level skyrockets. Xiaoxi confirms. A normal person graduates school around level 15 or 20. Yeah. Most people get hard stuck because they can't access dungeons. But if they land a related job, like a miner or a state dungeon guard, they might hit level 30 by the time they're 50. The guards at the Ding estate are about that strong. To really level up, you gotta join the army or an official organization, like a guild. That's the only way into high-level dungeons to get stronger. Asterisk. So he thinks. If I wanna asterisk get stronger. I need that pass. Asterisk Chosi begs him to turn back. The level gap's just too huge. No matter how good Yanni is, he's no match for them. Yanni knew with his current power, he was a long way from beating the hero, let alone Lu Wei. Asterisk, still. He thought, those patrol skills are only level 30 and asterisk, they only cover a tiny area. Skills like Eagle Eye or Keen Hearing can't cover this whole mansion. And this isn't some life or death dungeon. Most of these guards are lazy. It's more than enough for me to slip inside. Choshi squawks. How can you call them lazy? Yanni mused that compared to patrollers in S-rank dungeons. These guys are on vacation. Choshi shot back that even if they get in, they'll die for nothing. He demanded why they should stick around until Yanni grabbed his shirt. He asked the kid, "Don't you want to change your life?" Choshi stammered, "Of course I do. If I could just join a guild, I would." Yanni asked if that would really fix it. "That way, you're still the traitor's great-grandson after all." The kid looked down. Yanni said, "You can only change your fate by acting now. Don't bet on a future you won't fight for. At least I'm not gonna let a dungeon right in front of my face go to waste." The kid has to decide if he'll follow. Asterisk. Now I wonder if... Asterisk, my old friend's descendant will make the same choice. Choshi gulped, then got up trailing after Yanni. He thought to himself, I can't just let him get himself killed. Yanni told him to shut it, seeing no traces of any summoned sentries nearby. So if we stay quiet and out of their line of sight with one big leap, and by moving at the perfect moment, I can get in easy. Choshi pointed to the dungeon entrance, which was dug deep underground. The level was a little higher than the last dungeon. Yanni saw the monster count wasn't high. Probably because the Ding family clears it out. There were only 2 piddly little monsters, and Choshi was supposed to take them on. The nerd whined, "Why fight? I can't win." But then he had to block the monster's attack, screaming, "I can't believe I trusted you." As a zombie lunged in for a bite, Choshi whimpered that he shouldn't have come. He just wanted to go home blocking another monster with his shield. Yanni told him to at least try fighting back. Choshi yelled back, "How am I supposed to find a chance to counterattack?" Yanni calmly said he was watching, so nothing bad would happen. Choshi took a deep breath and bashed a zombie with his shield. Another one attacked from behind, but the kid just barely dodged. Yanni thought, asterisk. Just as I figured. His talent's the real deal, asterisk. Even though he's a scaredy cat who panics, he could only defend. But his sense of spatial positioning was ridiculously precise. It was like even in a deadly situation, he'd barely lose any HP. Can't expect a miracle. Most people just freeze up because they lack the guts to try. Lacked the guts to push their limits. Yanshe swept in slicing mobs, while thinking that his old buddy's grandson had finally taken his first step. Asterisk ding, times Qiaoji hit level 7, nabbing 3 more stat points. The protagonist noted that EXP is shared by contribution. If he hadn't actually fought, he would have gotten zilch. Gotten any EXP. Yanshe was rocking a resentful bone sword, with 62 attack and 11 spirit damage. He mused that his moves were surprisingly quick, wondering about his stat build, while Qiaoji said that he dumps everything but spirit evenly. The protagonist replied that most shield bearers don't ever add points to agility. Qiaoji explained he'd never find a party at school otherwise. Everyone expects a super slow shield bro. Then bam. The monster aggroes the squishies. Yanshe said he was thinking long-term. The job advancement past level 60 has strict requeues, and the Bastion Fortress class needs pure stamina and defense. So he can't just dump his points all willy-nilly. Qiaoji said most normal people just aim for level 40. He couldn't even dream of level 60, cause that's S-rank tier. Yanshe clapped his shoulder saying, from now on. Then bam. The monster aggroes the squishies. Yanshe said he was thinking long-term. His support class was only OP because of his hidden skill. If things went as planned, that would likely change. The job advancement past level 60 has strict requeues, and the Bastion Fortress class needs pure stamina and defense. A bit later, more zombies met his blade. Yanshe wiped them all out effortlessly. He should aim that high but not just S-rank, go beyond it. He mused that he should take his own advice and plan his class path. Thinking times. Hey, haven't lost a single drop of HP yet. Asterisk. His attack buff vanished. Looked like the duration for Trick Blade was up. 2. The skill was a beast, but it was no good for long fights. Stopping only when his Trick Blade skill's timer hit 0. A zombie lunged in revenge, but the protagonist deftly dodged. He noted killing these mobs also fed EXP to his mirror world. Then he spotted something, and immediately backed off. He saw the Ding family's guards were making their rounds pretty often. He wondered if they'd already spotted the trespassers. Qiaoji noted the mob count was lower, but it was still sketchy. The protagonist had to agree. He was right. He had to keep an eye on the guards mid-fight, and also time the duration of his Trick Blade's buff. That was a lot to juggle right now. Judging by the skill book that dropped. His own stamina couldn't take a marathon battle either, but he was leveling way faster than average, already up 2 levels. The reverse skill was stupidly strong. He could only imagine how OP it'd be once it evolved. Then he glanced down, thinking if he took out the dungeon boss, he might just jump straight to level 2. Other dungeons don't grant skill EXP, which creates a barrier on intangible things. In its reverse form, he still needed 30% for Mirror World to level up. Even at level 1, 2. Turning back, he saw a beast chained to a throne, with some adventurers closing in. Qiaoji spoke up. So, a controlled dungeon boss. A first for him. Even the school's boss was heavily guarded by teachers. So he had to check out the main boss area. He also noticed the rat and crow summons were getting more frequent. Attacking the boss was not a smart move. At his level, he couldn't beat it while under such intense surveillance. A guard was taking a leak on the dungeon wall. The protagonist tried to sneak attack him from behind. That's definitely some high-level equipment. Yanni stared coldly, thinking with so many guards creeping around. Yanni said he's spilling the beans for info now. and he'd better talk. The guard trembled in his boots and asked what he needed to know, vowing he'd tell him all. The Ding family didn't pay him enough to die. Figuring he should take out the guards first, the goon got a bleed status and was slammed to the ground. The old master has stacks of them, so they're not that rare. He figured this dude must be one of Grandpa's fanatics. And he was right. He'd seen the old master pass them out for study a few times, leaving them with the head guard. Yanshe thought that getting info was the whole point. The guard repeated what he knew about the passes. They would for sure be questioned about them. Our hero told him no sweat, and to empty his inventory first. Outside the dungeon in the Ding family's base, our hero asked if a singer skill book was all he had on him. The guard said the Ding family is stingy. They take almost everything and the guards just get the leftovers. But they were just temp, unregistered passes. Without some inside help, you'd be totally toast. He gains a 6% attack boost for 15 seconds after a heal. The guard led him to the Ding's inner house, saying guards can't get in without an invite. Besides the young master Ding Su, everyone was over level 30, with some sweet items. Our guy learned Baptism of the Sun. After healing, he gets a 3% defense buff. By reversing this power, the dude with the stash was level 42, a guaranteed loss for him. Besides the young master Ding Su, everyone was over level 30, with some sweet items. Yanni noted the inner house had a level 42. He knocked the guard out cold, and then called for Kiyoshi. They didn't really need them as guards. Yanni asked if the pass was for real in the house, but the guard told him the family head was inside, in the dungeon. These high-level chains on the boss meant the dungeon stays up as long as it's alive, telling him to lay low. Our hero figured he just had to bait the guy out. He went back to the boss room. Our hero clamped a hand over the guard's mouth sword to his throat. Everyone in the boss room was totally floored. Yanni thought this was the perfect play to make the family head come out, so he used the combat chains. The boss got up. So they guarded the chains with a key lock, a super safe method, so safe no one would dare to open it. The family head now leads his backup to the dungeon. Choshi saw it all from afar, decked out in the guard's armor. Our protagonist scored a level 60 piece of gear and thought that now he could waltz right into the inner residence. And the adventurers yelled, asking what was going on. Outside the Ding family's base, Su muttered, "Seriously, I gotta greet him like times this times." But Dingha, a level 42, said greetings were a whole other issue. He swung open the car door for missing Anna, saying, "Please exit your ride." Out stepped a blonde girl and one with black hair. At the Ding family's inner residence entrance, the butler greeted the second master and the young master Ding, snarling at him not to get in his way. Choi saw the whole thing from afar. Then Ye popped up out of nowhere, saying, they strolled in together. Dingha welcomed them to his humble abode. Then he spotted someone and just kicked them aside. Cho was like, "How'd you finish so fast?" The protagonist explained. "Hey, it was a dungeon boss, you know. After all, even at level 30, catching one alive ain't easy, so there was no need for me to jump in. They weren't gonna beat it that fast anyway." He then asked what he'd seen. Xiao Shi looked down. "That guy. The Ding family's back, perfect time to move in." But then he asked, "Yo, why the weird look on your face, dude?" It meant we'd face the humiliation after. Yanshe looked totally stunned. After that, the Chio family had to endure the Empire's cruelty, every single moment, all on secret orders, from the hero Ding Khan. The abuse they faced only got worse. In the end, we were forced to become servants for the Ding family, and at the same time, is my youngest uncle Choli level 17. When Yanshe rebelled, my family was wiped out, but that wasn't the end, was take it. My father's generation thought they could change things too, but as a result, my own father lost his mind, went totally insane. And my uncle, he became the Ding family's loyal dog. Was I really right to follow Yanshe here? The protag said he had to get to the inner residence and just kept on walking. The hero's family would parade their power and kindness. For the Cho family to survive all they could do. "You'll definitely be killed," Yanni said. "In an age where dungeons rule, if you don't take any risks, you've got no hope. You'll just waste away. And some things, if you hesitate and overthink them." Cho Shi grabbed him. "Stop. Dingu's dad is in there, fully geared, and level 42. If you're found, fight back, I won't force you," Cho Shi replied. "They're a great family with world-class power. Can you really fight them?" The protagonist said. "The one I want to fight is the whole empire." Then he just walked on. Inside a lounge, Ding Hao was demanding how the dungeon lord's bonds were broken. Yanshe asked, "Is this a bad time?" "They'll never get done. I can help you change, Cho Shi, but you have to choose first, even if you decide not to." "Dungeon. It's not more important than you," he added. "When they heard you were coming, my dad and third bro decided to come back. Handling this mess will be a piece of cake. We've also contacted Grandpa the hero and he is super excited to meet you." The protag listened from afar. Asterisk. So, that's the hero Ding Khan times, he wondered. He recalled needing a pass and an escort for the hero's dungeon. And this girl, judging by how they treat her, "We can come back another day." Ding Hao waved it off. "Nah, my older brother can handle that. It's just a mere, but for now I need to focus on that pass." The black-haired girl then noticed a flicker of movement. Some maids passed by. Chatting as Yanshe slipped inside a room, he ghosted his way to the library. The third family head claimed he had finally wrangled the dungeon boss. It was let loose with bad vibes, but he couldn't sense a single soul nearby. Must have a super high status. Yanshe, Shaw. She has the same last name as me, Yan. Is that just a coincidence or pronto? The young miss is visiting, and he absolutely couldn't let any incidents happen to her. Yanni snooped around, thinking, it's all junk here. He was using his phasing ability. To risk all this, it had to be for more than just one shiny item. Dingy commanded his family members to surround the inner residence. Some top-tier skill books. At the Ding complex entrance, Chioji panicked. Why are all the guards rushing this way? Did we get caught? More were swarming in. If Yanshe didn't bolt right this second, which let a brick-sized object pass through stuff. He popped open a drawer, spotting some diaries. Could these be? When they stormed his family's home. Just hide in a corner, he thought, and maybe I can at least save myself. He started to move, but then he remembered what Ye had told him, and froze. He yelled at the top of his lungs, grabbing every guard's attention. All eyes snapped to him. Cho-si bolted. He would have zero chance to escape. If they catch him now, they'll just cook up another excuse to frame him. He recalled his childhood. Glancing back for a sec, he smirked, thinking he'd finally leveled up his own courage after all, and chosen to fight. Then he yelled, I got the chain and skill books. Come get me if you think you can. All the guards took the bait and charged. And just like that, the protagonist's new skill activated. Thinking, I'll be the decoy. They can't find him. Meanwhile, Yanshe smashed through a window of the house to escape. The second leader yelled, squads, 2 and 3 fall back, protect the dungeon boss. He's not escaping, he's running straight for it, Choji wondered. Why is he leading everyone the wrong way? With guards leaving and the boss contained? They must have had a massive fight to pin it down. An aura that slows enemies within 20 meters. Its reverse effect was on 2 boosting the speed of any allies within 30 meters. In the waiting room, Yanshe noted the noise, telling her uncle he didn't need to stay with her. Battle to restrain it, meaning its health is super low right now. Nabbing the final kill will let me improve my Mirror World skill. The family head yelled, out of my way, you're all too slow, we have to go straight for the boss now. He sprinted, yelling for assassins and archers to follow him and take down that intruder. Our protagonist sees he's got a tail. He muses that each class gets 3 points per level, and he's dumped half his points straight into agility. Dingha just waved it off. It's just some small-time thief. My big bro can handle it easily. He now stood before the Paladin of Greed, which was suffering from a nasty bleed status effect. Plus, he's got a speed boost skill. Around level 30, most archers and thieves could barely keep up. All he has to do is pump out as much damage as he can, then end it in one final blow, while the army of ***, the mobs are still huddling. He plows ahead with his chaotic spikes, and everyone's just like, what? Must be part of the seal, he figured. This was its weakest moment, the perfect time to strike. To a monster's. How did it land so easy? Meanwhile, a mage flings a spell at the horde. Pfft, the knight's freaking out. How is that possible? That status effect was busted. Young Shed pushes forward. What even times was times that skill? They'd never seen it. It slapped on a status effect, and human resistance was a total joke compared. He's here, he's got CC skills, but the tanks couldn't even block him. He smirks, thinking they're just a random mob with zero teamwork. How they lasted this long is a miracle. They were already about to crumble. The peanut gallery yells, hold on, it's just one guy. Yeah, right. If we can just land a single hit on him, he's toast. The clan head shows up barking orders to stop him. Then Danny steps up, I'll handle this punk. Sword gripped tight, he thinks I can at least slip past these clowns to get the weak boss. People start yelling, muttering that his level's too low to equip this thing. He can't get the stats, but that's not the point. It's all about the durability. I mean, it's a level 60 item, duh. He parries the axe with his chains. He figures this huge impact. His fire axe arcs as our boy turns to face him. He readies his blade, thinking, ah, here we go. He then muses. The MC zips past and slices the dungeon boss, thinking, all that EXP is mine. He finishes the boss off with ridiculous ease, gaining 3 levels instantly. His Mirror World skill hits max, ready to evolve. Dini charges in. Axe swinging the whole mob right behind him. He glances at his screen, pops Mirror World without even, is just what he needs to shatter the seal's barrier. And there's his opening times, ding, asterisk, thanks for the boost, you idiot. Poof, he was just gone. Inside the Mirror World, it was just him. He takes a look around, realizing, this is the world inside the mirror. He's still got a good 30 minutes left on his mirror walk. No surprise that. Slotting it, and vanishes just as the axe was about to connect. Everyone just stands there, totally stunned. Everything's a flipped version of the real world. The guards look like cheap holograms, except they weren't. Hitting level 2 on this skill, he can yoink stuff out of the Mirror World. He wonders if the system UI will change too. Inside, he sees all his usable skills. But wait, some of them are still grayed out. His basic skills are locked. They look like bizarro versions of all his current abilities. But first, he has to learn. They weren't just illusions. He grabs something off the floor and sees a mirror stone can be pocketed. So, after, he can pick out OP skill combos ahead of time, basically planning his whole build. Then he spots something creeping up behind him. A few souls are just drifting around. He wonders, Are there other souls here? An undead? The normal skills in the real world to unlock their reverse twins. This is definitely a major upgrade. It's like, into a dozen pieces. Huh, not very tough, he thinks. But then a new window pops up in front of him. An undead contract. It lets the creature leave the mirror and fight for him. And it's level 15. He thinks that after. Things suddenly rushes him. He thinks, how did a soul turn into times as he swings his sword, dicing it. Looks like level 2 of this mirror world lets him bring out items and ghosts into reality. Hey, now this is getting interesting, he thinks. Outside, someone notes the dungeon's totally cleared, but our boy is a no-show. Where'd he go? By beating these ghouls, he can summon them outside, so it's not just rocks. It's not a true invisibility cloak. Dongi's losing his mind. Did he just poof? Maybe used a rogue stealth skill, but an assassin scoffs. No way, stealth has a time limit. Just then, our hero returns to reality. All heads snap his way. Ye notes his mirror walk is done, and he's back at his starting point. Dingy screams, "Get him!" but our protagonist just smirks. He tells them to chill. After getting jumped for so long, it was time for some payback. He unleashes a few dozen souls, declaring, "Meet my ghost army." The mob stares as the ghouls advance, asking what they are, screaming about how they could have let him slip away with this many eyes on him. He yells that if he's not found, they're all paying for the dungeon fee. The phantoms slam into a tank. The guy sees their health bars. They're only level 20. Dingy yells again not to panic and to fight back, 'cause whoever nabs him gets a fat bonus. But our hero had already dipped from the dungeon. Everyone's just like, where'd he go? Outside, Yanshe admits, these ghosts are still pretty low level. Dingy screams not to freak out, they're just ghost types. He's seen hundreds of these things before. The 20 strongest ones were already under contract. Plus, the mirror world has an exploration cap. Inside, he can only go about 200 meters. He's got to check out the mirror world elsewhere to find a high-level monster. Outside, he spots a guard choking Kiyoshi by the neck. The goon sneers that Kiyoshi is good at hiding and that he figured he'd get away. But hey, who knows what the reward is for nabbing him? Then our hero slices the guy's gut with his sword. Kiyoshi sees this and Yanshe yanks his shirt, telling him it's time to bounce. The whole situation had gone totally haywire, and it was time for him to go home and count his loot. The Ding family's goons fight the ghosts and beat them. They grumble that these things weren't tough, but they just kept reviving after getting zeroed out, until they finally poofed. Dingy, the third family head, sighs. He says they're summons, and if they revive, it just drains the caster's mana, so they should just rush him down as soon as possible. Another guy asks if Miss Shaw is back yet. In the family's inner sanctum, Ding House admits he failed to keep her, and that the intruder was just way too bold. Not only did he waltz around their home, but he also smashed a window in their house. Ding Dan can't believe an intruder actually got into their inner sanctum, and not only did they fail to catch him, but they have no clue what he was even after. Hugh just accepts that it was all his bad. But whatever, Miss Shaw agreed to go to the hero's dungeon, so at least Grandpa's business didn't run into any trouble. Ding Dan sighs and says once they find the guy who did this, they're gonna end his life. His son. Better check what they swiped. Meanwhile, Yon glares at a temp card with Kyo on it. He mutters that he snagged it, but still needed a chauffeur to the hero's dungeon. Still no need to rush things. Just from that Ding family house raid, he hit level 20. Plus, his Chimura bone was basically toast. But he swiped over 10 skill books from their private stash. The chants were all support type skills. He masters the battle chant, which then unlocks the shield chant. With this, he can totally crush dudes at his level with skills alone. The boss also dropped some sweet gear earlier that'll come in handy later. Even better, his Mirror World skill hit level 2. The necromantic summons can be used to seriously jack up his battle power. But it's not enough. From the lore, the hero's gotta be at least an S-rank berserker. He needs a spirit of the same rank, and has to hit level 50 to even have a shot at offing him. Cho's freaks asking if they're gonna get caught. Our guy tells him to chill, they've lost him. Our trail by now, and we kept our faces hidden. Cho sighs, looking down. Yan thinks to himself that the kid was getting antsy. It must be tough at his age, so he calls out. He asks if there are any nearby dungeons where some big shot kicked the bucket. He's hunting for a high-rank dungeon to level up. Cha says there is one dungeon where a powerhouse died, but it's the school's dungeon, and there's no way they can get in. Of sneaking in. Yan thinks times, so it's a monopolized dungeon. I'll just have to use my special methods. Asterisk. Later, he hands some books to the teacher who's like, for me, the teacher thinks Yan must have some serious backing. He says the dungeon entry list is already locked in and totally can't be changed. But the dungeon will open up for soon-to-be grads. If a student is particularly awesome, outstanding, they can join the tour with a teacher's rec. He promises to fight for a spot for our guy. Some students gossip that this could be their last dungeon ever, so they better kill as many monsters as they can. But the dungeon will open up for soon-to-be grads. If a student is particularly awesome, if it wasn't for the hero's gift, they'd never get this chance. Rumor has it he once fought there, and his traces are still inside. Chose is sneaking around and mulling this over. He thinks times the Valiant Dungeon, where the hero bravely offed the traitor Tia. Asterisk, traitor Tia. Asterisk, I gotta tell Yanshe about this. Asterisk. The teacher warns that the dungeon's level is high, so they must be careful. Little C will babysit you too, he grumbles. How am I supposed to level up like this? The teacher tells him to quit whining, the dungeon's open, so just go. C gripes that this is so annoying, having to babysit 2 dead weights. He tells them to stay behind him and not cause any trouble once we're inside. Yan thinks times. It's a level 20 to 40 dungeon. So why do I feel this sense of danger? Asterisk about it. Inside the Valiant dungeon, Sayu spots something. So that's why Yanshe and Yunyin showed up. 2 noobs from school, huh? She notes he has 2 noobs too. Man, it would be so much better if he could swap them for Yanshe's crew. Escorting cute girls would totally fire him up, maybe he could even score a date. He muses, drooling. But his buddy snaps, dude, stop dreaming. They're in a league of their own. Level 30. You'd be the one begging for a carry. You're not on their level. He sighs, I know, I was just kidding. He glances over as the girls walk up. Yanshe approaches Yanshe, and our hero is totally baffled. He thinks, asterisk. Wait, isn't she that VIP from the Ding family's place times? Why is she coming over to me, he wonders. Asterisk, did she know this body's old owner? Or is she just tight with Dingsu times? But then she says she saw him at the memorial yesterday. You're not weak, and you have a unique voice. Yanshe is lost, thinking she's spouting nonsense. She continues, it's easy to pick out your voice when it's mixed with the sound of shattering glass. The protagonist gets it. She recognized him from just 2 sentences, he said yesterday. The girl in the witch outfit says, well, we've said our hellos, so that's it for today. They're gonna go scout ahead, leaving with her friend. Yanshe reflects times. She knew who I was, but didn't call me out. Asterisk. So that was a warning. Ding Su must have recognized my voice by now too, but the Ding family won't move on me this fast, so it's cool. And with my leveling speed, I've got nothing to sweat. Since they were being cool, he decided to return the favor. The protagonist warns her, be careful. This dungeon has a really dangerous vibe. The girl pauses, now that you mention it. This place does feel a bit off. You're right about that. At my level, it really shouldn't feel like this. She thanks him for the heads up. The other students whisper, is that the same, Yanshe? She's usually so icy. They swarm him. How do you know Yanshe? Can you introduce us? The protagonist just apologizes and says they should get moving. The others are like, you're going alone. The weakest mobs here are level 20 and 2 noobs will get one-shotted. But she stops them. Just let them go. For him to be on good terms with Yanshe, his level probably isn't low at all. The other students whine, but Professor Lai asked us to. Look out for them, how could this happen? But C reminds him, don't forget why we're really here. The less they know, the better. These precious crystals are just for us to share. Besides, everyone is equipped with signal flares, so we can just ignore them. She wonders times, why was that guy with Yanshe acting like he had a asterisk plan? Since he's so confident, it's like he's begging to get himself wiped out. Meanwhile, at the dungeon entrance, Ding Su comes rushing over. The professor asks, what are you doing here now? Ding Su asks if the team just went in. The professor confirms, asking, what exactly are you trying to pull? Ding Su had already told his father about Yuchun and Cho Shi, but his dad said not to drag personal drama into this, just because he got embarrassed at the memorial. The young master insists, they were there. I know I recognize their voices. He says the intruders ditched his guards with ease, which no normal student should be able to do. His first uncle says he must have been strong enough to bust past the guards, tells Ding Su to not bug him with it. The big boss agrees, saying they're in a meeting and he shouldn't interrupt. Ding Su insists that he has to raid this dungeon. Our boy easily mows down level 20 stone mobs. He then fights a level 30 beast with 1 thrust, landing more hits. Then he yells for Kiyoshi, and the tank pops his shield ability, which holds for a solid 3 minutes. He casts other buffs to juice up our hero's stats. Yanshe then leaps and slashes the beast again using every skill he's got. He closes in on the weak spot and then finishes it with a downward slash, with 7 seconds left on his trick blade. Asterisk ding times, he levels up and Kiyoshi is totally impressed that he's gotten stronger too. Yan thinks of the skills from the Ding family, their surrounding shield and motivational call. Super useful skills that Kiyoshi could actually learn right now. Besides, all the monsters were high level, and Kiyoshi's support made this a cakewalk. The professor said, there's a rare monster in this dungeon, the obsidian beast. Taking it down might drop a support skill called gravitational pull, which is the exact skill he needs for his shopping list. There'll also be phantoms, not just the obsidian beast. He wonders how many OP adventurers died in this dungeon, and hopes to find him here. Until Yanshe spots something down below. He sees a shadowy creature forming and thinks, no way could it be in Crystal Pillar Canyon. A bunch of dark beasts are gathering. Yan thinks, whoa, that's a lot of elite obsidian beasts. They'd only gone 1 kilometer past the normal patrol zone. Wander attack monsters are a rare type. They don't have a fixed spawn and pop up all over the map. Plus, they hit way harder than normal mobs. Before humans powered up, powerful running into a wanderer monster was a death sentence. They can roam outside the dungeon's limits and threaten human bases. These things are on another level of strong. so he needs to test the waters first, trying a slash on an obsidian beast. He glances back and sees the monster is just regenerating like crazy. These things are on another level of strong, so he needs to test the waters first, trying a slash on an obsidian beast. He glances back and sees the monster is just regenerating like crazy. These things are on another level of strong, so he needs to test the waters first, trying a slash on an obsidian beast. He glances back and sees the monster is just regenerating like crazy. They'd only gone 1 kilometer past the normal patrol zone. Wander attack monsters are a rare type. To beat these mobs, he needs Kyoshi's defense after he grinds some levels, so he needs to test the waters first, trying a slash on an obsidian beast. He glances back and sees the monster is just regenerating like crazy. The obsidian beast. Taking it down might drop a support skill called gravitational pull. They'd only gone 1 kilometer past the normal patrol zone. Wander attack monsters are a rare type, and with the armor he nabbed from the Ding family guards, he had the makings of a true tank, able to shrug off hits from level 20 monsters. Yanshe yells at him to get his footing right. These things are on another level of strong, so he needs to test the waters first, trying a slash on an obsidian beast. He glances back and sees the monster is just regenerating like crazy. The obsidian beast. Taking it down might drop a support skill called gravitational pull. They'd only gone 1 kilometer past the normal patrol zone. Wander attack monsters are a rare type. These things are on another level of strong, so he needs to test the waters first, trying a slash on an obsidian beast. He glances back and sees the monster is just regenerating like crazy. The obsidian beast. Taking it down might drop a support skill called gravitational pull. These things are on another level of strong, so he needs to test the waters first, trying a slash on an obsidian beast. He glances back and sees the monster is just regenerating like crazy. It's the perfect chance to power level Kyoshi. On the battlefield, a tank is absolutely essential on the front lines. Yan recalls this was the last skill book he swiped from the Ding family, and it's perfect for Choji. Besides adding some extra armor to his summon shield, he can seriously buff his defense with this skill. Now he can face down elite level wanderers. It's the perfect chance to power level Kyoshi. On the battlefield, a tank is absolutely essential on the front lines. Wondering where they all spawned from since it's super risky for the students. Lian says they can handle normal level 30 monsters, but these wanderers are a whole different beast. Then he spots a student's signal flare close by. Lei jumps up saying they've got to rescue the students first. He argues the wanderers are the main threat, and what if some student wandered in there, totally clueless? Pang Jiang then declares that in that case, he'll stay behind. Lai says that if old B hangs back, any problem that pops up can be handled easily, but Yanshe cuts in, saying they should just keep an eye on the kid. He warns them if a rescue mission is needed, even 2 professors might not be enough to get it done. Lai shouts out to them, but our hero says these wanderers are sluggish and haven't spotted them yet. Keep an eye on the guy behind him. Choshi grins and starts blocking hits just as Yanshe explains he's got to remember, adding, these monsters are super dangerous, and he better not make a move on his own. He also tells him to stay out of sight. The protagonist thinks, if they spot me, we're totally done for. Yan slashes one of the monsters, thinking the exact same thing. There's no way they'll be able to escape. The monster tries to fire a Monterey as the phantoms protect the boy. Choshi pops his shield skills, and the blast stops right before the phantom, even though it punches right through it. The protagonist lands a clean slice on the obsidian monster. He then dashes at the 3 that are left, thinking, there's only 3 left. He dices the monster into pieces. Once the creature's HP hits 0, a loot drop light glows on the ground. The kid thinks, phew, lucky I could handle those wanderers. He was totally getting the hang of this new class. Last life I was a total scrub. Even with my busted skills, now I can juice my attack power some, but the real problem is, base damage for a support is just pitifully low. It'd be a game changer if I could just crank up my attack power some more. After offing that giant beast, he gets a ton of EXP. Jans thinks to himself, time sweet, another level up. Asterisk, rare elite mobs, really give insane experience. Then the system pings him to grab an item drop. The protagonist strolls over and finds something that makes his jaw drop. A crystal longsword that hits for 552 damage. Thinks this is perfect for my pathetic base attack. Smashing stuff will be way easier now, so he gives the blade a swing. Young sighs, it's a shame he didn't get the gravity pull he was hoping for. The drop rate for that skill must be trash. High. Or maybe his luck just stinks. If only there were more wanderers. Then he spots a red flare in the sky. He realizes, that's where the signal shot up from before. It's a special flare, the kind that only the professors are equipped with. Lai holds firm with his shield, analyzing the chaos ahead, wondering why a huge mob of wanderers is gathering right there. One group is cornered by a rock as the wanderers attack. A bunch of others are just watching from a safe distance. Yanshe notes, whoa, that's a ton of monsters packed together. What the heck is happening? A man says that it's not totally clear. We came to help after we saw the signal. It came from the cave over there, so they're probably to be trapped in there. We tried to form a rescue party, but the monster count is just too high. Even with our professors teamed up, it's not enough. We'd be saved if we had her help. Yanshe says, it's my duty, and prepares a spell. Star magic, setting it to autocast, then activates her mystic art of light. The whole party's morale and damage get a boost. And they all shout, "What a powerful skill, it's gotta be epic rank." Yanshe then uses gravitational pressure on one of the obsidian monsters. Her sister finishes it off with a hidden spike. The group gawks, commenting on how crazy strong they are. Now we can actually save the people trapped in there. Those two are as amazing as they say. Young Sha reflects that not only their gear, but everything about them was top tier. It looks like even if he wasn't here, they'd have handled this no problem. He wonders what's going on and what could lure so many wanderers here. He says to the group that he's going to scout ahead, and that Kiyoshi should stick with these guys for now. He then uses Mirror Walk to phase into the other world. Yanshe notices the whole place is covered in crystals, all of them mirrors, so he can enter this place whenever he wants. If he hadn't figured out the trick to returning to reality yesterday at the Ding family's place, he'd be in trouble. He would have been stuck here when the time was up. He walks thinking that people leave phantoms, but monsters do not. But the monster corpses are physically present here. Besides himself, living things don't have a solid form in the mirror world. He spots them up ahead and their leader's name is Shidoki. It seems they're the ones who lured all the wanderers to this spot. They're cutting through the Forsaken Land, so they should be safe from the mobs for a little bit. He still can't figure out what lured so many wanderers, and all these strange crystals are clearly affecting their path. Until he spots something and thinks, how could this kind of item be here? It was a special crystal ore. No wonder Kiyoshi. So his crew hit this cave. Unlike normal crystals, dungeons pop out some seriously special stuff that you can't find anywhere else. Pros with life skills can craft this junk into some wicked items, like gear and other trinkets. These ores were the real deal, worth more than their weight in solid gold. System alert. He can now pick up the mirror crystal ore and get this returned to the real world from here. Yanni's mind raced. Asterisk. Return to the real world here times. How's that even possible? So this must be the mirror interface. He can bounce back from certain spots. Man, there's so much to figure out with this skill. He needs a hot minute to study it. But first he's got to check this place out. This much ore is kinda weird. Mining all this stuff would make a regular Joe stupid rich. No wonder all these wanderers were flocking over here. Meanwhile, Yanshe nails an obsidian beast with a gravity spell. Then Yanyin ends it with her dual blade dance. The adventurers are like, are all their skills special grade? They're crazy strong, even stronger than the profs. The professors. That girl slices through an obsidian beast, making a path for the teachers. The third-year crew is like, whew, we're safe. They thought they were totally gonna bite it. Yanyin tells him not to let his guard down. Guard down. We still gotta fight our way out of here and everyone's gassed. Sha says this part will be easier than before, but then her eyes lock onto something else. The third years just freeze in terror at the sight. A whole army of wanderer monsters stood right before them. Did every last wanderer in this whole dungeon show up here? Meanwhile, in the mirror world, our boy slices through a stone wall. He's like, whoa, this is a legit maze, and then he spots something. A weird structure with a big crystal on top. Yanni thinks, could this be the dungeon's secret treasure? If those other crystals are special items, then this core has got to be the secret treasure. A treasure like this is a super condensed version of all the dungeon's special loot. It takes a super long and random amount of time for one to pop up. A regular person might never see one in their whole life. He reaches out to touch the green ore. Asterisk. Every secret treasure, no exceptions, has a special effect. Asterisk. He sees this one boosts his stamina and mana recovery speed. It juiced up his base stats and even gave him damage reduction. More stamina means a higher max HP, and better mana regen means he can spam Trick Blade. Best of all, it gave him a sweet 20% damage cut for light and electric attacks. A percentage-based damage cut is super rare, even on top-tier gear. But something felt off here. It's like these crystal ores are wanderer magnets, and with a treasure like this around this dungeon should have a monster way tougher than them. He decides to just use the secret treasure and book it. But the system dings him. Using or storing this thing will eat up 10 minutes of his mirror walk. Back outside, the adventuring party is totally stunned. Yanyin and Sha had never seen anything like this in their lives. The wall above them explodes, forming a beast way bigger than the obsidian monsters, and even more terrifying. The group's thinking, could that be the Lord of the Wanderers, a hidden boss? It's a Wanderer Lord. Could roam free of the dungeon boss. A super rare hidden boss. Its power was equal to no greater than a regular boss. Way out of our league. A shield bro holds the line while the squad freaks out. That Wanderer Lords only spawn in S-rank dungeons. What kind of crazy dungeon has a beast like that? At this rate, we're all gonna get wiped here. Ya centers herself, then screams for everyone to get a grip. Chill out. The only thing that matters is teamwork, so we can bounce. We can book it through the canyon right over there. If we clear the basin, we're out of this dungeon. She unleashes her starlight mystic art, telling him to go all out. Full power, people. We push to the other side, Lee Zhen flashing his light refraction shield. He yells that no matter what the students have to make it out, he'll take point first. Then they'll rotate to speed up the group's push. The Wanderer Lord tries to pancake a student with its giant hand. They somehow manage to block it, stacking shields to tank the hit. Mages buff the shield bros' defenses, chanting from their tomes, from their magic books. The fight in this zone was insane against all the obsidian freaks. All the mobs decide to fire mana beams all at once. Yanshe screams for them to hold on that their defense isn't enough. The Obsidian Lord lets out a roar, giving a command to its minions. The nearby mobs hear the call and start swarming them. As it stomps toward the group, they're like, "Where are all these monsters coming from?" The Obsidian Lord uses its crystallized aura, buffing the HP attack and defense of all its minions. The party is just wondering how in the world their power just jumped by such an insane amount. Lee screams that the DPS is too high, and they can't kill him fast enough. A teacher begs for help, but his body is zapped by 100 mana lasers. Another prof starts panicking, yelling that a teacher just got offed. Yanshe screams for the tanks to hold the front line, with the healers focusing on them. She thinks everyone's gassed and barely hanging on. And the Wanderer Lord hasn't even made its real move yet. The group screams that it's hopeless. At this rate, they'll never escape. An assassin pops his stealth to make a break for it, yelling that it's every man for himself now. He dashes right through the mob. Lee yells for the other rogue class students not to follow him. The stealth duration won't last long, and they won't make it all the way out. The student sprints past the Wanderer Lord. Lee spots something on the Lord's back. He turns just as the Obsidian Lord charges up its mana beam at that student. They scream for everyone to watch out as the monster attacks. Lee shouts that the Lord just turned him straight into dust. The group struggles to hold their ground. Their shields are barely holding on. A student yells that not only that, but the blast knocked him clean down into the canyon. That attack power is just ridiculous. There's no escaping from here. The Obsidian Lord fires its mana beam as the student mutters that it's all over. And this time it's aimed right at him. They can't block it. Yanshe steps out from behind the shield wall. She summons her Stone Mountain shield with 3,000 defense. The shield strains to withstand the blast. Their shields are barely holding on. A student yells that not only that, but the blast knocked him clean down into the canyon. That attack power is just ridiculous. There's no escaping from here. The Obsidian Lord fires its mana beam as the student mutters that it's all over. And they won't make it all the way out. The student sprints past the Wanderer Lord. Lee spots something on the Lord's back. Why is a monster like this in a school dungeon? He figured if they just held on, help would arrive, but this time nothing. He was just glad those two kids weren't here to get wrecked by this thing. And they won't make it all the way out. The student sprints past the Wanderer Lord. Lee spots something on the Lord's back. In the valley, how'd they get here? Ya snaps at him to focus as the Obsidian Lord's attack comes. Choi shoves his siege shield up to protect the teacher, but a mana beam blasts right through it. The teacher thinks, my own defense was shattered first. Now there's no one left to stop these wanderers. In the valley, how'd they get here? Ya snaps at him to focus as the Obsidian Lord's attack comes. The shield bearers were all down. Their entire defense line was gone. Then Choi's shield and armor shatter. The wanderers charge their mana blasts aimed at him. Lei thinks, it's over, we're out of options. But then the protagonist appears in a flash, his sword, a blur that cuts down everything in his way. The teacher's face lights up. Yanshe says, Choi, you did great. He offers a hand but then says, leave the rest to me. Yanshe moves forward, thinking, dodging these attacks is way easier now that I'm level 24. My total mana is 140, and my recovery is 2.6 per second. I can boost my attack power by 330%. Trick Blade is at 180%. He thinks, it's insane to fight the Wanderer Lord, he's even stronger than the dungeon boss. I need to hit at least level 30. So I'll use the Mirror World to approach. Still got a long way to go. He bursts from the Mirror World at the perfect instant, unleashing a flurry of sword strikes on a monster. Yanshe says again, Choi, you did great. Leave the rest to me. He stomps his foot, activating and flickering the Mirror World to move. He shouts, anyone with support skills buff my strength. He bursts from the Mirror World at the perfect instant, unleashing a flurry of sword strikes on a monster and shield armor. The protagonist tears through more wanderers. He levels up, thinking, with this many mobs, leveling up is going to be way faster. Ya can only see a storm of slashes. She thinks, I thought he was just a cocky thief, but his power is beyond anything I imagined. Yin was just as stunned. The entire group could only watch the protagonist blink in and out of existence using the Mirror World. His level shot up exponentially as he wiped out more monsters, hitting level 28. Lei tries to warn him, it's over if the Wanderer Lord gets close. No matter how strong you are, you can't fight the Lord. The shield bearers add, these two shields are a pain to move, and if they break, we're exposed to the Wanderer Lord's attacks. The group argues, but if we move, we're just easier targets. Yanshe says again, just leave it to me. I'll hit it and stay out of its range. That'll give you a chance to retreat. Lei objects, if we run, you'll be left behind. Yanshe reflects, but if this Wanderer Lord isn't defeated here, it'll rally the dungeon's mobs and rampage in our world. Historically, most apocalypses were started by these Wanderer Lords, so staying means he has times to end this thing. His Trick Blade is at a wild 350%, and his Mirror Walk has 5 minutes on the clock. The squad is booking it. Lei's yelling that no matter how OP he is, our guy's stamina will tank against this massive horde. The faster we bail, the faster he can get out of this mess. Get out of there. A tank asks, wait, he's not gonna kill the Lord. Lei says, he was probably just trying to calm us down. I mean, come on, it's a Wanderer Lord we're talking about. Choi thinks times chime still so pathetic. All times I can do is run away now. I just hope Yoni is okay. Meanwhile, our hero is just shredding through the mobs like they're paper and levels up. Asterisk ding times. He uses mirror walk, zipping past monoblasts from behind a monster, and lands some clean hits even fighting level 42 beasts. Asterisk, this is pointless times, he thinks. Asterisk, its times defense is way too high. The chip damage I'm doing will just regen in a sec, just as I thought. I still need to bail. That crystal on the Wanderer Lord's head has to be its core, which means it's the weak spot. My attack power probably just isn't cutting it. Asterisk whoosh times. He dodges, hitting level 29. Only 5 seconds left on Starlight Mystic Art. Yanshe thinks times my buffs are about to run out, and my mana points. Asterisk are so low I can't even keep Trick Blade active. Gotta level up fast. Then he notices a weird glow in front of him. Asterisk. What is that? Times Yanshe wonders, seeing the Lord's hand lunging at him. He pops mirror walk. Thinking times. It learned my timing times. Then, out of nowhere, his HP starts taking a massive continuous hit. Yanshe thinks times I don't have much time left on mirror walk. If I don't dodge this, the timer's up. I can only times use my phantoms to block, but reviving them will drain my MP. Then I won't have enough juice to boost my attack power later. Asterisk. Should I fall back and regroup with the others? Times just then. Our protagonist sees something new forming ahead. He asks, why did you girls and Kyo come back? Yosha replies, the little guy got on his knees and begged, so we had to help. Choji adds that they had enough people to make a safe getaway, so he talked them into coming back to help. Our hero thanks them with a genuine smile. Yo warns, this hidden boss is too nuts, we'll cover you while you fall back. But Yanshe just moves forward, saying, there's no need for that. He slices through mobs easily. With you guys here, there's no reason to hold back anymore. Times. Ding. Times. Our hero hits level 30, and Mirror Walk's timer runs out. He thinks times. Finally. Asterisk. I finally made it. My attack power is high enough now. Asterisk. Then he equips the Corrupt Knight's armor from the Ding family. Ya asks, are you trying to hit the creature's weak spot? At this rate, there's no way you can reach it. Our hero thinks times. Hey, the piece I was missing is finally mine. Asterisk. A new gravitational pull skill, which lets him pull stuff toward him, but he can reverse it to gravitational traction, where he launches himself times at times the target. Yanshe thinks times. This skill will shoot me right to the monster times. He juices up his trick blade by another 30%, assuring them this is all part of the plan. He then points straight toward the Wanderer Lord and unleashes his gravity pull. He zips toward the beast at insane speed, halting right over the boss crystal. Yanshe and her sister are totally stunned, their jaws on the floor. Our hero lands a flurry of strikes with his powered-up strength. More rocks start to rumble and fly in. They swarm onto the boss's back while our protagonist's health bar plummets. But he keeps swinging, ignoring this massive AoE attack. Then, he finally slices the crystal clean in two. A system alert pops up, Wanderer Lord defeated. He gets a whopping 5,000 experience points, plus the title Slayer of Wanderers. It also drops the Golden Light Shield and Angelic Protection skills, and they're both legendary rank. Our hero shoots up 3 whole levels. Shuji gasps that his friend was so strong, and Yanshe agrees, saying he took down that awful beast alone. Then Yanshe shouts out that it dropped legendary loot, and 2 pieces at that. But wait, its center of gravity is shifting. Yanshe screams that the monster's going down, and Yanshe's still on it. He's gotta watch out. Our hero instantly bolts away at full speed. The beast slams into the ground, cracking the very earth. Jan spots something close by, noticing what's inside the crater. Inside the hollowed-out mountain were countless fragments. Our hero hops down, noting that these are the remains of wanderers and humans alike. This must be from when the first Wandering Lord was born ages ago. So that explains all these crazy battle scars everywhere. Then he spots something. A single body right at the top. A warrior defeated with a sword still in his grasp. The protagonist just stares at the kneeling figure. Then Yanshe asks, is that him? The traitor, she heard. This is where Ding-kun defeated him, but she never imagined seeing this. A whole sea of bodies with the lone squire still standing his ground. This was clearly a last stand between monsters and mankind. A far cry from that heroic statue in the hall. This person here doesn't look like someone who surrendered and knelt. Yanshe takes it all in, silently lost in thought. Then Shuji says, he probably won't believe this. But he thinks his great-grandfather wasn't a villain. He actually spent his whole childhood digging into his great-grandfather's past, and while he only found bits and pieces of the story, his story was hazy, but he found some weird details. For one, he always raided dungeons that were way below his level. Why would an S-ranker over level 60 bother with a low-tier dungeon? The truth is, a wandering lord was about to spawn there. That thing was the source of major cataclysms, and could call forth every monster from the dungeon into our world. Back then, the government was too short-staffed to defend against dungeon breaks, so they relied on a few strong, dedicated hunters to clear dungeons all the time. His great-grandfather was one of those heroes, and he came here to stop this very cataclysm. The entire group is floored by this revelation. Shuji adds that he probably thinks it's a mistake. His own family says he's just looking for some kind of comfort, and that's why he's saying all this. But Yanshe just pats his shoulder, smiles and says he buys it. The girls are wowed, and Choshi just gawks at his friend. The hero smirks, thinking for a sec. Realizing his pal wasn't that type of dude, Xiaowen would hop on the bar table and shout that he needed no master, and that the old-timer should just retire. But in a dungeon, he'd be screaming for his master to save him while tanking hits from tons of monsters. Outside, he'd be like, "Who asked for a rescue?" saying he better not do it next time. Shaolin wonders if he's been busted again suiting up. He's the kind of guy who grinds in secret just to flex on everyone later. He said not to sweat it, that he'd never let dungeons threaten lives. He picked Sword Guard for his class up, the weakest squire build. But it wasn't just because he dumped his points into STR and AGI. No other shield type worked with this class. He would stand at the front of the party saying the old geezer's crazy good at finding him running from so many mobs. And he couldn't help but gain a few levels. Yan says saving people was just his style. He reflects that for his buddy's sake. He'll risk it all against the Ding family. At the Ding estate, the elder asks if his nephew was spittin' facts. Ding Su yells that if he's not believed, he can ask the proctor in charge of the dungeon. He says Uni was on another level. The proctor guarding the dungeon blocked the gate and wouldn't let him pass. But he just waited till the people inside came out. Those hunters noted they saw the wandering lord go down over there, wondering who could miss that huge ruckus. It was Probs taken out by that guy. His name's gotta be Yanshe. So that was his real identity. All the family heads go silent hearing this. The elder stands ordering all Ding family guards to assemble and follow him to the traitor's dungeon. But he tells them to hold on, cause he'd mentioned a Kyo family brat was with him. So he orders them to drag the people from that family along too. In the dungeon, our hero picks up the tome of the Golden Light Shield. He hands it to Chiozi, saying he should have this ability since it has no level requirement. Yanshe notes that it's a legendary skill, and he's just handing it over to his buddy. The hero replies, it's a squire exclusive skill that he can't learn, and his great-grandpa probably used this skill a ton. Nuncha says, he really isn't lacking in OP skills. Logically, her own skills were high tier. But next to him she was still way behind, especially that skill that warped him away or that other one that summoned a boatload of ghosts. Ye echoes the word ghosts. He thinks, wait, I remember. And they were all made of souls, plus more souls, that also go to the mirror world with him. He senses something's off and uses mirror walk, which just came off cooldown. The hero wonders if he can use this, eyeing the mountain's peak. His new friend stands up, and Yan calls out Ben. Outside, Yan Yin warns that they should bounce, cause there's a ceremonial audience soon. Yusha says they've really wasted a lot of time here, and it was way more fun to stay, wondering where on earth our hero could have gone poofing for so long. The protagonist, peering down from this mirror world, he closes in on Ben, whispering, I never thought I'd see you again. Again. I just had to tell my friend it was all my fault, but then... Shadows. Devoured Kiao. That sinister energy morphed him into some twisted beast. The hero realizes, he's not responding, he's truly become a mindless spirit. I really don't want to fight him, but the shadows are swallowing me. Whole Yanshe flashes within Koji's eyes and he thinks, are these all my old pal's memories? That instant, he was backstabbed by Ding Khan. Yanshe realizes. Why does his stance feel so familiar, but the memories shatter? The hero is like, what the heck? He is going on. He screams for Ben, but Choshi just charges sword first, aiming to take our hero down. He tries to yell for Ben, while backpedaling, just barely parrying the blade. He thinks, only his battle instincts are left. I gotta bail like now. But then the system chimes in, escape impossible. The hero just sighs. Guess I've got no choice but to throw down. Meanwhile outside, Choshi spots something. The Ding elder sneers. Why so lonely? Did your little buddies smell us and ditch you? Aw, that just ruins my fun. Choshi yells over to Ding Su, asking why he's even here, trying to grind some levels too. Ding Ji snaps, cut the crap you Chow family punk, stop lying. We know you're the one who dragged Yanshe to your place and jacked his stuff. Choshi's like, you've got the wrong guy. It wasn't me. But Su retorts, you think I wouldn't recognize that geek screams. The nerd is totally floored to hear this. None of that matters now. Ding Ji smirks, I brought a little present for you. Choshi realizes what it is. His entire family is there, all beaten and bruised. The kid cries out for his uncles, his grandparents, and even his own mom. His second great uncle screams, get on your knees, you little punk, better apologize to the hero's family, and to young master Ding Su. The boy stammers, I don't want to. But that uncle says he drilled this into him his whole life, how to behave before the Dings. But Choshi declares, we are the Chow family. We shouldn't have to be the Dings' lapdogs for generations. His family is completely stunned, and one of his uncles drops to his knees. For us, descendants of that vile traitor, being their dogs is good enough. His aunt begs, our whole family will be wiped out. Think about your father. You've gone totally insane. You have to know how hard your own mother works for this family. Choshi is silent for a beat, then tells them all to look at the scene behind me. My great-grandfather came to this very dungeon to stop the cataclysm before it even started. And a whole mob ambushed him, forcing him to sacrifice himself. I've been gathering intel on my great-grandfather for so long, but I never had any solid proof. But now, it's all right here in front of me. My ancestor was never some villain who betrayed his country. The real truth is totally different from the lies they've been spinning. We have to show everyone the truth and clear great-grandpa's name. We can't keep living like this. The Ding family has zero right to treat us like this. You all have to do something right now. The other family branches shouldn't have died for nothing. At this, Dingji just starts cackling. How childish, just as I expected. And he was right. Every single word was the absolute truth. His great-grandfather Xiaoen was taken down in a dirty ambush. He really wasn't a villain, and to be exact, it was his grandfather who got lucky enough to jump Xiaoen from behind. But who cares about the details, right? Xiaoen was a traitor to the empire, a real scumbag. The traitor's kids should be a disgraced family, and anyway, his whole clan knew the score. Otherwise, he shouldn't even dare to mention the folks who died that day. Dingji then commands everyone to kneel, and the Kyo family drops down without hesitation. The nerd's mother pleads for him to just admit he's wrong and give up, as it's pointless. After his dad lost his mind, his mom just can't stand to lose her son too. She seriously couldn't take it. And Kiyoshi's fists tighten. His mother always told him not to listen to them, because her son was the greatest of all. Ding-su scoffs when he hears that. Then he goes to kick him, yelling he's a nobody who'll kneel one way or another. The traitor's kids should be a disgraced family, and anyway, his whole clan knew the score. Otherwise, Cho-shi declares he'll never kneel again. Ding-su huffs and summons his hammer, snarling that he really wanted to put up a fight, so he'll remind him what it's like to be his punching bag. Cho-shi just smacks the young master across the face with his shield. The kid yelps, "How is this possible?" And Cho-shi shouts to his mom, yelling that they're the descendants of a hero, not some traitor. Dingji watches this, wondering how it's possible for him to get this strong. Su rushes in screaming he was just a punching bag he's been wailing on since they were kids, screaming about how he dared, but the nerd just slams him to the ground with his shield. The whole family just watches, snarling that he really wanted to put up a fight, so he'll remind him what it's like to be his punching bag. Su rushes in screaming he was just a punching bag he's been wailing on since they were kids, screaming about how he dared, but the nerd just slams him to the ground with his shield. The whole family just watches, snarling that he really wanted to put up a fight, so he'll remind him what it's like to be his punching bag, yelling that they're the descendants of a hero, not some traitor. Dingji watches this, wondering how it's possible for him to get this strong, snarling that he really wanted to put up a fight, so he'll remind him what it's like to be his punching bag. Benbin then unleashes a fiery explosion with all of his might. Our hero thinks, so this must be the legendary skill. Golden Light Shield. Man, seeing this thing again is a real pain. Outside, Ding-su charges the nerd. He keeps wailing on him even after he's on the ground. Dingji mutters that little Su can't even take down that punk now. His uncle will settle the score for him, rushing in with everything he's got. The punch slams into his shield, but Dingji is shocked. He's forced back when he realizes it's the Golden Light Shield. Cho-shi sneers that he should get the hint. The hero's family are just cowards who can't fight one-on-one. Chos holds Su, saying if his great-grandpa were here, he'd be on his knees begging for his life. But it also dished out an attack that tested stamina, and it can take a real beating. Screaming about how he dared, but the nerd just slams him to the ground with his shield. The whole family just watches. And once it's empty, it shatters after tanking 10 attacks. Ding. His uncle will settle the score for him, rushing in with everything he's got. If he was a tank and lost his cool now, he'd be wiped out in a flash. Yan pushes forward thinking. And once it's empty, it shatters after tanking 10 attacks. Ding. He asks what a worthless loser who died in some low-level dungeon could do, even if he were here. I'd still make him kneel with my gravitational shockwave. Xiaowei slams his shield down, fighting not to kneel. Denny summons his axe. 10 hits. But it's a one-shot skill, and he lands a few nicks. Even a tiny scratch will drain its power. She begs him to spare her son, saying he's just a young, dumb kid. She offers to kneel, telling him he can do whatever he wants with her. DY scoffs, saying if this little punk won't kneel, he'll take his mother's head instead. But then he swings his axe. Nah, forget it. I've got plenty of other lives to take. Cho tries to yell, wait, but a cloud of dust just swallows the whole fight. His eyes bulge in shock as the dust clears. The entire Kyo family's jaws are on the floor. Ding-he yells, is that Kyoan back from the dead as the hero's spirit protects his great-grandson? The mother cries out to the great-grandfather. The adventurers whisper, saying that traitor has been revived. They wonder how in the world he could have come back to life. His family notes that he looked more like a phantom this time. Then she says they had all seriously underestimated him. It was obvious he crawled back from hell for some payback. Sha'anan is frozen solid. Dai yells that, it's all for show, and orders his goons to take him down. The adventurers charge the old hero, who greets them with his armor and skills. He casually parries their attacks with his sword and shield. Then he moves forward, slicing through every adventurer with ridiculous ease. The family whispers that he's a monster, that Chao Nen is on another level. Choi thinks to himself that this parry technique holding off so many goons is absolutely insane. Dengi scoffs about summoning ghosts, saying he's sent plenty of those scrubs packing before, but he was only level 33. He charges, yelling that even if it's the ghost of Cohen, he's still just trash. Chaoan defends with his shield and deflects the blow. Dingy getting pissed attacks again and again, but the hero blocks every single strike. He mutters about the parry skill, but it's totally useless against raw power. He presses forward with his blade, trying to crush the hero. His shield ignites in flames. Choi thinks to himself that this parry technique holding off so many goons is absolutely insane. Dengi scoffs about summoning ghosts, yelling that even if it's the ghost of Cohen, he's still just trash. Chaoan defends with his shield and deflects the blow, but he sees his whole army is already tied up with the other ghosts. Dingy dons his armor, saying this is just a bit more annoying. Whether it's Kyo and or ghosts, they're only summons. He charges ahead, yelling that as long as he takes out the summoner, all of his little puppets will disappear. The man readies his strike, thinking his grandpa's high-grade armor was OP. Yanni figured he'd just brute force it. But bam, mid-clash Dingy gets sliced. He whips around, totally confused as to why he's suddenly totally defenseless. He spams a claw barrage at Yanshe, who just poofs into thin air. Dingy sees him vanish, but before he can blink, Yoni's sword is in his back. The guy lets out a shriek that blasts everyone back. Yanni pulls back with Qiao An, whose drawn sword makes an opening for his master to move in. Yanni lands a clean slice across Dingy's torso. He calls him a worthless punk and turns. But Yanshe keeps up the assault, aiming to end it, slicing the family head multiple times. Dingy howls in pain, crying out for his arm, which is just lying on the ground. He screams for a healer, but Yanshe pops up right behind him. The dude tries his gravity shockwave to blast him back. Yan just teleports far away, leaving no trace at all, asking what's the matter. Is he getting scared? The old guy screams for a priest again. Like, why aren't you healing me? He sees his priest getting wrecked by a ghost. His whole army was getting rolled by the ghosts. Yanshe asks if he seriously thought these ghosts were like the one at his house. He activates his reverse malefic possession and says thanks to that legendary skill, they're way out of these guards' league. Dingy feels a sudden chill of fear and tries to bolt. Xiaoan slams his sword and shield down, blocking the path and cutting off any and all escape. Dingy is horrified as a wall of swords and shields just erupts around him. Yanni strolls up closer and says, explaining this is a special sword guard skill, the absolute sword and shield formation. No one under S rank has ever broken out of this. But hey, feel free to try. Dingy whips out a device, warning him to back off. He's holding a void bomb, an S rank item from his grandpa. He boasts that if it goes off with Yanshe's current health level, he'll totally be unalived. Yanshe just tells him, go on, blow it up. Dingy gets ready, saying Yanshe is asking to be deleted. With his high HP, he can totally tank the blast. Yan says that even if he vaporizes Ben, he can just bring him back. He then dashes in, saying as for him, Dingy won't even scratch him. He then slices off Dingy's other arm, and the void bomb clatters to the floor. Yanni commands him to kneel, and the man obeys. Qiaoshi watches from afar, while Dingsu wails in terror seeing his uncle get wrecked so badly. Yanni rests his blade on the back of his neck. He asks him what value he could possibly leave behind. Yo, everyone, did you dig the story? I totally loved it. If you want to see what happens next, smash that subscribe button and drop a like. Catch you in the next chapter.